Smart, those watches.
It's my new toy. I got it like 2 weeks ago.
So is that like text messages?
Yeah.
See?
Santo said Mad Dog is going to see Bruce in Dublin. He must be listening to Mad Dog on the radio.
Great. So who's in Dublin?
Springsteen is doing a European concert tour like next April, May, and June, I think.
Ah,
How old is he?
What?
How old is Bruce Springsteen?
Stop, just stop. He's still very sexy.
and he's in good shape.
So I think we're gonna go to see him in Paris. I have to plan that trip. but- Stop. We're from Jersey. How can you not be a fan?
I'm
Did you
okay
know
with
they're naming rest stops after famous New Jerseyans now.
Really?
Yes.
So there's a John Bon Jovi one.
Yes.
Isn't
Yeah,
there?
Yes.
that's one, yeah.
Mhm.
kind of fun.
Mhm.
Until there's
Sinatra,
nothing
I think
else on.
Sinatra's.
How do you decide, right? And you know, who gets those
Sinatra
stops,
should really be up north, because that's where he's from.
Bruce has got to be Asbury Park.
John Bon Jovi.
Right.
I don't know. There is a bus stop,
Years
but
down the
there
road,
is a-
people will be
Yeah.
like, I wonder why they named it that.
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready to get started?
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, as always. Okay, so we made it to session 4. So you are officially almost through tapping into your inner calm. So
We're all tapped out.
Are you
after
guys
the night, right?
tapped out
They're
of
so
tapped out
calm.
of tapping in?
Left out.
So tonight is really just a review of a lot of the things that we've already covered so far, to help you kind of put together a toolbox for when you're sitting with really difficult feelings, so that you're prepared ahead of time and that you kind of know what to do and how to handle it as it comes up. So before we jump into all that, just like we've kind of done every week, since we've all been tapping into all these feelings, just want to do a quick check-in and see if you can identify 3 different feelings that you've experienced within the past 24 hours. Or more, if you have more, but let's see if we can get at least 3.
Anxious, overwhelmed, sad.
Anxious, overwhelmed, and sad. It's been a rough 24 hours for you.
Well, just stupid stuff. Like yesterday, they were going to the dentist in Newark, never lost. And
Mhm.
I was anxious about that.
Yeah.
But I prayed. I stopped and I prayed and it got better. And then overwhelmed because we're trying to figure out financial stuff
Yeah.
for Andrew, and sad because I learned he's gonna lose a tooth from a while now.
Oh, so it is like a mix
So
of a
I
lot of
just feel like,
emotions. Yeah. Okay.
You know, as the mom, you always go, well, what did I
course.
do? And,
Yeah.
you know, he just has bad teeth.
Yeah, sometimes that's the case,
Yeah.
right? But a lot of emotions, a lot of
Yeah.
things that come up with that for sure.
Mm.
Okay. So it sounds like you were really able to tap into it, and as you were
Mhm.
experiencing it, do some things to kind of calm yourself, which is great.
Mhm.
Okay. Good. Well, thanks for kicking us off.
Let's see, 3 that I felt, annoyed. Pleased. And the third one. Annoyed again.
Isn't it amazing how you can go from one to the next within a time frame? Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
I should feel like,
Oh, proud.
proud.
There you go.
By the way, Kelly.
Yeah,
Fix
what
that.
happened?
It's probably gonna happen again. It's quieter. When you
It
were in
is
here,
quieter.
wasn't it like?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that sounds a lot different. How'd you do that?
I just tightened the screw.
No way. All that time and it was a screw
I'm tall
rattle.
enough. I'm tall enough to think.
wow, well, I'm feeling grateful.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great
Because that was
answer.
definitely an annoying
My
sound.
brag, my brag for the night. I think.
I love it. All right, cool. So again, range of emotions going on. All right. Yeah, bouncing all over, right?
I'll just go anxious, upset, and excited.
Another good realm there of different feelings for sure. All right. Yeah.
This has just been a unique 24 hours, but lonely, angry, and sad. I'm not usually like that, but the past
Yeah,
24 hours.
You just
I've
kind
had
of
that.
feeling what you're feeling, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some days that's kind of what we need to do. Just kind of
Yeah,
sit with it
just
and let it
like,
be what it
okay,
is, right?
it'll go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Feel it while it's there though.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think I'm feeling goodness, in the last 24 hours. Exhausted. A little lonely too. And then motivated towards the end of the 24 hours. So another range. Yeah, at the end of last week. So it's been busy since then. Yeah, running around. So yeah, a lot of emotions too. As always.
You went back to your old stomping grounds?
Yeah, it's my temporary stomping grounds. I did. I went to see my sister and my new niece. So
Aw,
she's
that's
very,
exciting.
very sweet, very cute.
Aw.
Yeah.
So you were
it's-
meeting her for the first time?
Yeah. She's
Cool.
2 months now, almost 2 months. So she's still really tiny. But
Oh, so you moved out here when your sister was pregnant? When you moved back?
yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
That must have been tough, like.
it kind of was. Yeah, I did feel bad about that part leaving them because I obviously want to be in her life, but
Well, she didn't
From
even
a
tell you
distance.
about when she should get pregnant.
I know, right? Exactly. Like we could have had this all planned. But it was really good to see them. So, like I mentioned tonight, we're kind of getting a plan. Like this is going to be a brainstorming night. Kind of brainstorming with yourself, mostly. And getting a plan ahead of time when you're feeling all these difficult feelings. It's kind of hard to get a plan in that moment, right? Like you're already experiencing all this emotion, you're already tied up in what's going on. So thinking about how you're going to handle things before you're actually in the moment where you have to handle it can be super helpful, I think. So it always feels good just to be prepared. So we're going to kind of do like the brainstorming portion of your toolbox here, but I always recommend like if you actually can physically make some type of toolbox at home as a go-to that you can reach for, that can be really nice too. So just a couple things you might want to think about as far as like tools go. If you have like a container or a box, could be like something that you already keep things in that you really care about, or it could be something you want to create from like a Michael's box or like a shoe box or a picture collage box, like anything where you can throw some things in it that you like, that appeals to you, you know, like you want this to be something that you're gonna want to reach for, like when you're having a tough time. You might want to grab like some index cards, something where you can write things down.
Not a problem.
I mean, you can throw that in your box and just make sure it's a big enough box.
I see you mean for like fun things to be in this box.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a fun box,
It
not like
is-
an index card box of what to do. But like
Right. Like for motivational quotes, or if you want to write
Okay.
down like your new narrative with your emotions, or if you want to write down your feelings that you're feeling in that moment. Like it's nice to have just like a notepad or something, you know. Sometimes it's good to physically write something to get it out of you pretty much. You know, it's a great way to express yourself, even if it's just on paper. So yeah, it's just a couple things you might want to throw in there. You also might want to go through some of the PowerPoints we worked on and look at some of the exercises we've done and write a little cheat sheet of steps, you know, for how to do box breathing or how to do the other exercises or how to do the sensory activity. Again, you're not going to want to go through it and flip through and remember when you're having a tough time. So
You know what helps me? I do a gratitude journal every morning. And it has all the positives. So no matter
Yeah.
what type of bad week or day I'm having, you still have to find a positive. So when you're really down and you go back through that, it does bring you up because it's like, oh, how did I lose sight of all this great stuff?
Great,
You
yeah.
know? So that
Wow.
kind of is my little box. Right
I love that. Yeah, total mind shift in that moment,
Yeah,
right?
I should have reread it. You know, some today.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's okay. It's tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, it's a great idea. Writing down some gratitudes. I love that. And yeah, make it pretty, make it fun, dress it up if you want, you know. Yeah, glam it up, bedazzle it, throw some sparkles on there, whatever you want to do, whatever's gonna appeal to you. So I figured tonight I kind of printed out a worksheet where we can break it down and kind of figure out what it is you want to put into your box. So I'm gonna give you guys one of those. And we can kind of go through it if you want to do like section by section together, we can. Or again, this might be something that you hold on to and you start to brainstorm here, and then as you get home and you kind of think about things a little more, you might want to add to it or kind of tailor it. So it's just a kind of starting point for you. Do you guys need folders? Do you want to lean on for, would that make it easier? Like a little bit of a hard, are you good?
I'm good.
Okay. Okay, here, I'll see folders. Let's see. More notes.
Yes.
Alright, here's, so you'll notice a lot of this is all things we've already talked about. So we're putting it all together. So,
Sounds good.
yeah. Are you good? Okay, thanks. Alright. Grab one too so I can follow along. I know we talked a lot last week about, or 2 weeks ago, actually, last week was moving. The week before that was our narrative. So we were kind of trying to change our mind shift a little bit, write a new story for ourselves about how we feel regarding our emotions or how we handle emotions, or maybe trying to change a lot of the messages we've already been told about emotions that don't work for us. So I know we've already kind of done a lot of work with our narratives. And so the first part, if you want, we can kind of just go over that again. Rewriting your narrative, and again, this might be a little different than the one you've already come up with, or you might remember from before, or you might want to use the one, fill this in later and write the one that you've already written at home. But rewriting that every once in a while is another really great way to have that kind of sink into your mind a little bit. Like the more that you look at something, the more that you actually physically write it down, the more that you read it, the more that you'll retain it. So chances are you're going to have a higher chance of then living that story out if it's kind of ingrained within your mind. So always say, if you want to take a couple minutes and just kind of rewrite your narrative a little bit now, you can, or like I said, you can fill it in later. So the first part, my emotions are, we had a lot of good things before. It could be valid messengers, could be real, it could be whatever it is. My emotions are important, whatever it is to you. What are your emotions?
Welcome to visit with the kids.
There you go. I love that.
Those
Whatever
are
it
good
is
ones.
to you,
Could be
yeah.
good ones though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But they don't stay forever either.
Like that emotion you felt after
Yeah.
telling those guys off.
Yeah.
You want that emotion to
Yeah,
stay,
right,
and inspire you to
that's
do it
true.
again.
Yeah.
And then again, once you kind of sort it out and figure out what your narrative is, if you want to put it on a pretty piece of paper or an index card and throw it in that box, then when you're feeling something, just first thing you're going to read, your new narrative about how you're going to handle this. To figure out what your emotions are to you, we're going to move into the next part of our narrative. So when an emotion feels difficult, this could be a range of things. It could be I allow it to exist. It could be I do my grounding exercises. I breathe. I know that I can handle whatever comes my way. Like whatever it is, how are you specifically going to handle a difficult emotion? So then when you get that part pretty tied down, we're gonna go into the I know I am capable of whatever it is that you know that you can do when it comes to your emotions. Get creative with the capable part too. It doesn't necessarily have to be like I'm capable of, it could be handling it, or it could be anything. It could be I'm capable of letting it be what it is, or I'm capable of letting it pass through, or whatever it is. And then for the last part, because I am, so this is when you're going to come up with a few words to describe yourself that are going to help you remember kind of who you are and what you're doing, and that you are strong and able to handle anything that comes your way. So throw as many words in there as you'd like. So I'm doing so far. I know that when we did the narrative day, we already kind of shared a little bit, brainstormed a little bit together. Is there anyone that wants to share your narrative again, just to practice saying it out loud again, kind of letting it exist, putting it out there into the universe, kind of as your new story?
The last piece I'll share, because I am brave, courageous, confident, I am worth it.
Powerful. All words that are important when you're going through a hard time to remind yourself. Yeah. When you're ready, no rush. Move on to the next part, and this is something else you might want to throw in your toolbox or your box that's in front of you. So maybe some additional affirmations that can really help you to feel like you are capable of handling this. So it could be, again, it could be I am statements, or it could be my emotions are statements, like, or it could be a this will pass, or this is temporary, or it could be a whatever it is. Get creative, whatever you can say to yourself, a couple sentences to reassure yourself that right now I'm safe, I'm okay, I can handle whatever it is that's coming my way. And again, you could always write this on a pretty piece of paper and put it in your box. You could write it, just kind of something it's nice to have it to physically look at when you're struggling. So.
Hi, sorry I'm so late.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We were just going over the brainstorming worksheet, so we're just on the second part. Did you get it through the chat by any chance?
I did not. Yeah, I don't know why. I saw that you had sent something, but I don't think I was able to.
That's okay, no problem.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get it up for you real quick. Just gonna play with it a minute.
Oh, is that Colleen?
Yeah.
Yes, it's me.
Hey, Colleen, you're real tiny on the screen.
Yeah. It's probably a good thing. I'm not home. I'm in Delaware with my son.
Oh, really?
I'm not even on the screen.
Yeah. All right, hold on one second. Let's see if I can just pull it up. I think I saved it on my drive.
You're saying it's something I can pull up on my iPad or?
Yeah, it
You're
should
gonna-
be if you get the healthy chat,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
the
yeah.
group chat, it should be there. But if you can't
All
get
right.
it, let me know and I can always
All right, let me look. I'm
do
gonna
the
take-
share screen too for you.
Okay.
Let me know.
Sorry for the interruption.
No, I don't know. I'm
I
glad you're
brought
here.
everything with me knowing, and then I just realized I was like,
No, it's just good to see you. Thanks for.
What?
tuning in.
all right, so if I go to the healthy, where is it? In notifications? No.
Yeah, I think it should be either notifications or chat.
No, it's not. Notifications, here we go. Hi, everyone. Paste the Zoom link and also a handout we'll be using. See you then. So it's this.
It should just, if you pull it up, it should say like emotion toolbox.
I'm gonna download it. Of course, now I'm looking at it on my phone though, so it's gonna be really small.
For the first time ever.
Open. Do you
I
want to
know.
download it? Yes.
Make a long story. I cleaned my carpeting. Made such a mess on it. So.
All right, so my narrative, my emotions are when I am,
Yeah, you got it. Cool. All right, perfect.
all right, so are we filling this out?
We are. So really what we're doing tonight is just like a little bit of a review of everything we've done. And we're actually thinking about putting together like an actual physical box, whether it's like a shoe box or whether it's like a box that you have that you already keep things that you like. Something you can reach for and put things into so that when you're processing difficult emotions or you're having a difficult day, that you can literally go to this box and it's things that are going to make you feel, you know, reassured or calm or remind yourself that you can handle whatever it is that's coming your way. So we're kind of reviewing a lot of what we've already done. So the first part, we were just kind of, again, writing those narratives that we came up with last time.
Right, have those with me.
Tweaking it a little if we wanted to, like, because it might change as you figure it out.
Right,
So that part, we were just kind of going over. And then once you get past the narrative part, this is the part that we were on now with the affirmations. So like, what are some other things you can repeat to yourself? Like when you're having a hard time, what else can you tell yourself, either about you or about the emotions, your experience? Like, what can you write down and put in this box so that you can read it easily when you're struggling? So we're gonna take a couple minutes and just work on that part.
okay,
And then let me know if you have any questions, and then we'll move on to the next one from there.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Did anyone come up with any good affirmations that you wanted to kind of throw out there or brainstorm or share? Mine is, I am courageous even when I'm afraid. That's like my go-to when I'm sitting with some difficult things.
I think that's what.
I'm gonna steal one from Georgia that I really like a lot. All is well right now.
Oh, that is a really good one. Yeah,
That is definitely something I say a lot.
yeah, that's great.
I said, get into the center of the storm and let it blow around me.
That's
I
pretty
have to
powerful
remember
too.
that, though.
It's hard to do sometimes, right?
Yeah, a long time ago, I had a nodule in my breast when we first got married, and my husband, we were waiting for the results of the biopsy, and my husband was like, remember what I told you? As I'm frantically cleaning the refrigerator. Get in the center of the storm and let it blow around you. And every, when things get, a little crazy, trying to remember that.
Wow, I'm just literally visualizing that, like
Yeah.
someone standing in the middle of just chaos, but still being at peace with themselves, like in
And I
that
forget a
moment.
lot, but sometimes I
Yeah.
remember.
Wow, just to be that grounded with like who you are in that moment,
Yeah.
just that's significant. Yeah, I love that. It's a good visual. Yeah.
Honestly, it's just
All things are temporary. Like that's another one that kind of helps me with whatever it might be.
And God is in control. So it doesn't
Okay.
matter, you know. I have to remember that too. A lot. I have to be reminded.
Yeah, I know it. My mom always used to say, it's too shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have that in my,
Mhm.
Really?
yeah,
That's so cool, yeah.
yeah. I don't remember that all the time either, though. Like, I didn't remember
Is
that
it two with two O's or just one O?
too.
Two O's.
Yeah.
For Marie.
Marie.
Yeah, she heard it.
Such a good, yeah.
I
Marie
like-
was very smart.
She was, but I put down, I deserve to be able to share my emotions. So I feel like sometimes people make you feel like you don't
Yes.
deserve that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you just went through it.
Yeah.
So,
Who are
It
these
can be
people?
so invalidating, really.
I want
Yeah.
names.
yeah,
Yeah, especially when you're being so strong and brave to put it out there, like you're kind of being vulnerable, saying like, I'm going to allow myself to feel, even if that isn't always what's popular or what I've been taught, or,
and I deserve to
to-
express myself.
yeah, yeah, you do. No?
But you gotta find the people who are willing to accept that.
Yeah.
You know, we talked before about if you were raised in a family where you don't show your emotion, like stop
Right,
crying, suck it
exactly.
up, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't wanna go to those people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but if I have to, I can't be responsible for their reaction. I still deserve to share it
Right.
because
It's still worthy of it.
who I am, and also I find that in moments like that, people are not gonna respond to you right away, but in time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, not that's my go-to all the time, but in time,
Yeah.
that melts into their hearts.
We can't really figure out or know how something will be received, only our end of what we're willing to put out there. So,
Yeah, I feel like that's
yeah,
a thing, a big thing.
yeah, that's so true. Yeah, and I think it takes strength to be able to put it out there, not knowing what the reception is gonna be, that's.
Yeah, like it's,
Part of it, yeah.
we're doing it as
Yeah,
kindly and lovingly. And
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so once we go past the affirmation part again, if you want to rewrite that on like something nice, put that in your box. That would be kind of a nice little reminder as you're reading your new narrative to then have some affirmations written in there. So then we want to start thinking about, I'm going to move this over a little. All right. So then we want to really start thinking about what it was that worked for each of us individually when it came to making ourselves feel safe in the moment when we were processing something difficult. So a lot of this will be things that we kind of already went over. And again, all of these won't work for every person, and that's okay. It's kind of pulling from them and practicing and figuring out what feels right to you as an individual and what is actually going to make you feel more safe, more grounded, more reassured when you're in that moment and when you're going to allow those emotions to exist, when you're going to sit there and label them without judgment, and when you're just going to acknowledge what's going on. We're working on calming our nervous system here, making ourselves feel like we're not in that fight, flight, or freeze mode with our autonomic.
Walk out of these doors for the last time.
These are all things that are going to help discomfort or whatever it is that we're experiencing. So I figured since we've covered so much over the last couple of weeks, I just wanted to go over a couple of these again together. Because again, the more you try something out, the more you can figure out if it's for you or if it's not for you. And I know, since we have the time and we're all here together brainstorming, I just wanted to go through a couple of these again really quick. First, because they're calming and some of them can just make us feel good in the moment right now, and also to figure out what you want to use later when you need it. So I know first we'll just kind of maybe do the box breathing again. We won't do all of these, but the box breathing can be something that some people like because they like to visualize along with their breath. So if we all just kind of want to get comfortable for a minute, kind of sit in a position that makes you feel good, we can go over that a little bit. So if you're in a place where you can close your eyes, sometimes that's a really nice thing for this exercise. With all of these, we want to start with just a couple nice deep breaths, reminding ourselves that we're safe right now. Really just feeling our body against the chair, feeling grounded.
Ryan literally just threw random things. He just threw all of these random things.
And then when you're ready, we're going to picture a box in our mind. We're going to inhale as we trace up the one side of the box. Hold as we go across the top of the box. Exhale as we come down the side of the box. And then hold that exhale as we cross the bottom. So we'll go ahead and do that together now. We're going to inhale up the one side. Hold as we go across the top of that box. Exhale as we come down the side of the box. And then hold that exhale as we trace the bottom of that box. Now at your own pace and whatever feels comfortable with your breath, if you want to go ahead and just trace that box with your breath a couple times for yourself at your own pace. You're ready, after we get done tracing that last bottom of the box, you can go ahead and come back to the room. So that was one of our techniques that I kind of reviewed before. Yeah, feel it out, see how it sits with you. Might love it, might hate it. Okay, either way, there's plenty more to choose from. So just kind of put it in the back of your mind, because once we go through these again, talk about them a little bit again, then you can kind of brainstorm on your paper the ones that you really like. And again, if you want to write down the instructions for these like on an index card and put that physically into your box, that way you don't have to remember how to do it when you're in that moment. So the next one that we did back towards the beginning was the 6, 7, 8 breathing. Again, you can change these numbers a little bit. So maybe 5, 6, 7 feels better to you. Or so it's going to be your inhale, your hold, and your exhale. So the difference between the box breathing and this one is first that we're not visually tracing anything, but also we're not holding that exhale. So we're just going to go right back into an inhale. So we're going to try inhaling for 6, holding for 7, breathing out your mouth for 8, and then going right back into the inhale. And again, play with the numbers if you need. So we'll try it first together for a few rounds and then individually for a few rounds. When you're ready, we're going to inhale for 6, nice and deep. Hold for 7. Out through your mouth, exhale for a count of 8. Like focus on releasing any tension through your body through that exhale. If you want to go at your own pace a few more times and play with the numbers, go ahead and do that. Next rounds. How's everyone feeling so far after that one? Good. Anyone noticing any differences within your body?
Yeah, I feel more relaxed after I do those. techniques.
Awesome. Great. So then we'll jump to the next one. All right, so anyone remember the progressive muscle relaxation? You got it, yep. So that's the one where you're purposely tensing up parts of your body and then very consciously releasing that tension. And hopefully any other tension that's kind of behind it or sitting within your body. So we won't go through the whole body one this time, but just if we want to practice just a couple of things first. Again, want to make sure you're sitting or standing comfortably. Really just focusing on where your body's at this time, in this moment, against the chair, ground it to the ground beneath you. Start this one even with a couple nice deep breaths. Just focus on that air flowing in and flowing out. As you're exhaling, literally visualize tension leaving your body. To our feet. So when you're ready, you're going to go ahead and just tense up your toes and your feet. Scrunch them up a little and really hold that tension for a minute. On your next exhale, you're going to go ahead and slowly and gently release your feet and all the muscles in there. Go ahead and tense your feet again on purpose. Exhale and gently release that tension in your feet. Now we'll move on to your legs. So when you're ready, you're going to go ahead and just tighten your leg muscles. It could be in your bottom part or the upper part or all at the same time. Just tense those muscles up. Hold for a minute. Gently release when you're ready. Again, we'll tense the legs up one more time. Gently release and exhale. Just kind of let your whole leg just be like jello, kind of shake it a little, just let it relax. Let it be heavy, feel the weight of your leg as the tension kind of lasts. It's just kind of doing its own thing and chilling out right now. Ready, we can move up to your hands. So you might want to make a tight fist for a moment. Just focus on that tension there. Slowly and gently release that fist. Go ahead and tense it up when you're ready. Release. Now we'll move up to the shoulders and neck area. You know, we all tend to hold a lot of tension up here, a lot of stress. Go ahead and maybe hold your shoulders, shrug them out, hold them for a minute. And let it go. Do exhale. Then at your own pace with this one, go ahead and do the shrugs at your own pace and at your own time. Feel like you're comfortable. Tension's released from your shoulders. We're going to do one final full body tension to the extent that you're comfortable. So if we can kind of squeeze our bodies and hold that tension everywhere that we can for a moment. And gently release. So focus on melting into your chair at that release. One more time and one final exhale. Feel your body sink in. So that was the progressive muscle relaxation. Again, you can take as little or as much time as you'd like with that one. You can focus on certain people are like, oh, I'd like to tense my legs, but I don't really like how my feet feel tense. So again, tailor it to what you like, you know, what feels good for your unique body. Everyone feeling it for that one. I like the shoulder part a lot
Yeah.
for me. That's where I feel it the most,
Yeah.
the shoulder, yeah. Just a couple other things that we've kind of mentioned. A lot of people like guided or unguided meditation. Sometimes if you like to sit with the quiet and kind of meditate, that's wonderful. If maybe some people have a little more trouble kind of finding that place where they can just kind of be with themselves and sit with that quiet. There's a lot of excellent like YouTube meditations or even just some nice background music that you can find that can kind of help guide that process a little. And again, it's just bringing you back to the present, making you feel safe, recognizing where you are in your body at the time. I know we did some yoga poses last week. So those are like another go-to that can be really good. I know we did some grounding where we did like tree pose, where you're kind of standing on the one foot and bouncing a little bit and really focusing on your body being connected with the ground beneath you. That can be really like a nice feeling when you need to feel connected to something, you know. I know we also did some movement with yoga poses with like the twists like that in the chair where we like literally envisioned, you know, whatever it was that we were feeling and wherever that emotion was stuck, literally twisting out of us as we breathe out. So, you know, you can do some things like that. So just kind of a little on that. We talked about the walking meditation. Has anyone had a chance to try any of that since last time? I actually tried it a little bit myself. I liked it. it was kind of cool. You pretty much did where you did it like right in this room. So if you want to go for a long walk, that's awesome. But even if you just have like a small space, you can do it a lot of different ways. You can tailor it to whatever you like. Like you can count steps and really focus on your foot hitting the ground each time. Or you can not count steps and just walk at a leisurely pace and just really focus on the feeling of where your foot's hitting, like the ball of your foot or the heel of your foot or, you know, wherever it might be. And then certain people like to do like inhale for so many steps and exhale for so many steps. So you can really play with it, you know, like really just feel what works for your body. But the whole point behind it was kind of as we're hitting the ground, however we want to use it, envisioning the emotions that we're feeling that are stuck within our body, kind of releasing through our feet into the ground. It's giving them literally a place to go as we're on impact. Yeah, so I tried it out a little bit just in the driveway. Yeah, I actually liked it. I did more of the literally just the breathing. So like every couple steps, I would make sure that I was exhaling and just really focusing on. At the time, it was anxiety, like right here, so I could feel it in my stomach. So I was literally picturing that anxious feeling moving down my legs and shooting into the ground. And that was like kind of cool feeling actually. So again, that's something may or may not work for you, but if you want to play with it a little bit. And then we have the 5 senses activity, which again brings us back to the present moment. If we want to just kind of reiterate that again, again, going to sit comfortably. Always start with some deep breaths, feeling like you're within your own body. This is a good one you can do anytime, anywhere. So we're going to start, nice deep breath, inhale. Slowly exhale. Look around. It's 5 things that we can say. And really look at the textures, the colors, you know, really see the little details that stand out to you. we're gonna focus on 4 things that we can hear right now in this moment. We're gonna go into 3 things that you can physically feel. So this isn't necessarily an emotion at this point. I'm sure we're already feeling that. This is actually physically what can we feel right now with where we're sitting. Texture of your clothes. It could be the way you're sitting in your chair. Now the next one, if you can smell anything, we're gonna try to see if we can smell 2 smells. Sounds tricky sometimes. And even if you can't smell it, sometimes trying to smell it brings you to the present moment. Like it really makes you tune in and maybe you'll smell nothing, but the fact that you're tuning in to try is a grounding technique. And then we're gonna finish up thinking about 1 thing that you can taste. Again, another tricky one, but see if there's anything there. So with that one, just important to remember, don't stress about it. Don't let it cause you more anxiety. If you can't taste or smell something, totally okay. You could play with the other senses a little bit more. So, or you could lower the numbers or, whatever it is that works for you. You don't want it to cause you more anxiety. So, but that can be a really good one too, to bring you back to the present. Okay. So now that we've kind of reviewed a couple things, went over things, if we want to flip back to the worksheet, and even if there's even 2 or 3 that maybe you think work for you, or it could be something we didn't cover at all that you already know works for you to bring you back to the moment and help you breathe or ground or feel safe. You can go ahead and kind of fill that into the worksheet. Again, might be a nice idea to put it on a nice card, put that into your box too. Maybe some instructions for these if you want to flip back, like we said earlier, through the PowerPoints. I think the instructions are on some of the other ones. So that you don't have to remember how to do it in the moment. You can reach for your box, reach for your card, and the instructions for your exercises are right there. Want to kind of narrow that down for yourselves for a few minutes, you can think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing yet, but we'll move on to that part next. So you
Okay.
got it. You're right on track.
Okay.
Perfect.
Great. So when you kind of narrow down the exercises that work for you a bit, we're going to move on to the next part. And this is my favorite part because this is what's actually going to make your box pretty much. This is the content part. So again, more sensory items that will bring you comfort, make you feel safe, make you feel calm, help you to sit there with whatever it is you're sitting with. So I don't know if we want to brainstorm out loud with this a little bit. We can, just to give each other ideas, but it could be literally like pictures of someone. It could be, or something. It could be some kind of item with meaning to you. I know like some people have like a locket that they love, or something that a family member gave them, or something from a vacation that they went to that reminds them of a happy place, or like something physical that you can look at and remember. Could be a texture, maybe like a soft cloth or blanket, something that you can heat up that's warm, or maybe like something to bring you back to the moment and shock you a little, and something you can put in the fridge that can be cold. I don't know, people like different things. Could be something you can smell. And then a lot of people have those like like aromatherapy sticks, or even an essential oil bottle. It could be a candle, a perfume, a lotion. Yeah, lavender is really calming. Could even be like a hand sanitizer if you like that smell, or it could be again something you associate with something else that you love, whatever that might be. So really get creative here and think of the things in your life that bring you comfort, and maybe something that you could put into your box, or a couple of things you could put into your box. Could be like a taste, it could be like a hard candy or a gum or a tea bag of a tea you know you love. So you can have that in your box and be ready, and you know, like when I drink this tea, it's gonna calm me.
CBD tea.
Yeah, there
Oh, that's in my box.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Does that work?
It does.
Does it?
Buddha tea.
What do you call
Told
it?
you about it.
Buddha
You buy it. Yeah,
Where do you
it's
buy it?
Buddha. Oh, I buy it online, but you can get it at Bonterra. Yeah, I've been doing that. I haven't done it lately, but there's sometimes I go on a roll.
Yeah.
And that's my nighttime thing.
Does it help put you to sleep?
Yeah, just like if
Sounds
I'm
good.
highly anxious,
Yeah.
because I can do that sometimes.
Yeah,
Sometimes I'll make it a double.
I like it. Top yourself off.
Oh,
I might have to try that.
Buddha tea.
It's
Buddha
called
tea?
Buddha tea.
Okay.
She made me
Yeah.
a double on Friday.
How'd
How'd
did
it work?
No, that
Not
wasn't
that
Buddha.
tea.
Oh,
Yeah,
Not
well, how'd that work?
just that tea.
yeah, you need
Yeah,
that,
it
that
was-
other tea. You need a tea.
I gotcha.
Buddha teas. Yeah, just
Huh.
Google them.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
pick someone up.
Yeah, it really, there's something to it.
Yeah.
I just got, I had the pinched nerve in my neck.
Yeah.
And this was, I'll just share real quick, but we went to an outdoor garden thing this weekend in Summers Point, and they had CBD oil that it has actually THC in it. But the woman, I'm like, it's $50, right? But I really had this rather serious thing in my neck.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, just rub it on and walk around for 20 minutes and let's see. Oh my gosh, it like totally changed my
Really?
life. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, in 20
Um,
minutes. That's amazing.
Well, yeah, and I've
Wow.
had to do it like twice a day, but.
Does it smell weird?
No, no, no eucalyptusy, but.
Oh, okay, not like pot.
It doesn't smell like pot,
Mm.
no, but I was taking ibuprofen like it was candy, and I haven't had to do that.
That's
Now, is it
wonderful.
oil or
Wow.
cream that
The
you're
oil.
using? Oil.
Well, it's on a roller.
Okay.
Yeah, I just took a little one before, and you don't get the effects of the THC.
Yeah.
It just allows the CBD to work on you
Oh,
longer.
I wish I
That's
knew.
pretty
go get
incredible.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it at the Summers Point Mansion Farmers Market.
Yeah.
Exactly where you are.
My hip was killing me on Monday.
Oh, you just go to
That would be a
Patches. I
good
can
point,
only do
yeah.
it.
I didn't go to Robin's class because my
Yeah,
hip was killing me.
Has all kinds of stuff in
Just,
it.
that's wonderful way to find something that actually gives you relief, because that's so painful. Like,
It
I've been in
was so bad.
months.
I've
Yeah.
been months,
Yeah.
like
They're
months
probably all over
of
the
this
Yeah,
problem.
I think they're all over the
And I
place
had been
now.
going to the
But it's nice to have
chiropractor,
some,
but
like,
it
Something
wasn't.
you
person
know
knows
that you can
if
ask
it's
questions.
Saturday.
Yeah.
that's like magic, really.
It was magic. It was
Yeah.
I'm
magical.
going with that.
Because
That's
I'm just
amazing.
like,
I'm so glad you found it.
I'm so thankful I get to find all these cool things,
Right.
really, I
Yeah.
just do.
That's
I
great.
needed all that useful word.
And it's helpful to everybody, because who would have known, like, it was that
Yeah, yeah,
effective, you know, like, because people do have such chronic pain that there's literally sometimes it seems like no solution to it, so.
Yeah, there's so many
Yeah.
natural things now.
It does drops to make me fall asleep. I don't know if it really works. I spent like $80 for that. The
I mean, it's
drops
nice
to
to
make you
hear.
fall asleep. I spent like
Oh.
$80 on them. I don't know if it works.
Do the tea.
I'll try the tea.
Yeah.
wanna try
it's- Yeah.
Does anyone want to share any of the ideas you came up with for some things you're gonna put into your specific toolbox?
What I do when I know I have to talk to people, like I have, it's like a sensory ring. It's got the 3 bands to it, and you play with it. And like, if I'm being, if I know that there's a difficult thing I have to do, mostly work related, I'll just play with it.
That's cool. I love
Yeah,
that.
it keeps me calm.
Yeah.
It's very sensory for me, yeah.
Like something to physically do to take that. Yeah, I love
People
that.
with autism, they jewelries and things like that. That's kind of where I got the idea, and it worked.
That's great. I love
Calms
it.
me down.
My ring is on my
Nice.
list.
One of
it's-
those rings?
Well,
Yeah.
not one of those, just this used to be Mike's, my
Oh,
husband's ring.
okay.
So that just makes me feel good. So
Yeah.
whether I touch it or look at it, you know.
Just all those emotions that come with it.
And I feel like rather than a box, like I try to have things with me, like in my
Yeah.
purse, I have
Could
my
even
lip
do a bag.
smacker, because
Yeah.
that's like comforting and, you know,
Mhm.
and have some moisturizer, because
Love
that
it.
feels good. I'm giving myself a massage, you know.
Yeah.
and
That's
then,
awesome.
you know, my music that I like to listen to, it's either my car radio or on my phone, I can play it, like it's always, I don't want to have to go
Yeah.
home and get my box. you know.
Yeah, that's perfect. Keep it right with
When I
you.
need it, it's there.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. Definitely making it work into like your lifestyle. If you're out and about and you want to
Yeah.
be able to turn to it. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Very cool.
I listen to music. sometimes.
Okay.
Like certain songs calm me down.
Music's powerful.
Mm.
Yeah. Other sense that you're tapping into, like that hearing. And speaking of music, that's kind of a good leeway into our next section.
Oh.
You got us right there where we needed to be. So I know that last week when we did the movement one, we talked a lot about physically trying to move our bodies, whether that's through dancing, whether that's through shaking, whether it's through doing arm exercises, whatever you're comfortable with. To get those emotions again that might be feeling stuck within our bodies to move around a little bit and release. So for the next part, if you want to kind of think of a couple songs again ahead of time that would make you either want to move to release that energy, or like you were saying, Dawn, that are kind of like just comforting, or that might make you feel at peace in that moment. So it could be either way, you know, it's either something that's going to liven you up and get you moving, or something that's going to bring you joy and happiness or calm. Sometimes, I'm not going to suggest putting all 5 songs as this, but sometimes we need a good cry.
Yeah.
So even if there's one go-to song where you're like, if I know that I just need to cry, like I need to release, some people will even put one cry song on there too. Like this is going to be my go-to. I know it gets me every time. If I need to get that out, sometimes you can even kind of go that direction too. So get a little creative with it. Again, good idea to think of it ahead of time, because as you're sitting there in the moment, who's going to want to sit there and think of every song you've ever known in your whole life that works for you? So if you want to take a couple minutes and think of maybe a couple songs that help you move emotions around or resonate with you, go ahead and write those down.
I like that you could say, Alexa, just give me some dance music.
Yes,
And then
I
you
love
put you
it.
in the kitchen.
Yes.
Always a fun one. She knows what you like now.
I was watching, Rocky series was on.
Gosh,
Oh.
it's such a good one.
Talk about music that's motivating.
Isn't
it
Because then you're
great?
picturing him doing all those workouts. and
Yeah.
stuff,
So true.
Running up the steps.
If
As
I
soon as they
had-
play, it's like better than Jaws, those first
Yeah.
few notes. like
Yeah.
The Rocky stuff.
If I had natural childbirth, I was gonna have the Rocky
Love
music.
it.
To
Like getting through that marathon.
help me push the baby out. but I didn't have to do it.
That's great. But it's so funny too, just how music brings us back to, like you said, like moments of memories of things, even if it is a movie or something that can shift our mood completely. Like
Yeah.
music is just such a significant part of life. Really.
Actually, you brought that back to my memory. I had
Yeah.
Yeah, Yanni and
Nice.
India, all those guys.
Love that.
You gotta bring it with you.
Did it help you stay calm and relaxed?
Hell. Yes.
Moments of joy in between the worst torture of your life.
Something like that.
Who's got a good cry song? I got a good one.
Yeah, right.
Mine are very specific to people, but yeah.
Did you ever see Les Mis?
Oh, yeah, lovely.
The finale of Les Mis gets me every time. When he's dying and they come and get him. Oh,
Are you into like Broadway shows and all?
oh.
How about the Memory from Cats? That's a cry one for me.
I don't like that play.
Yeah,
so I
it's a
don't-
weird play.
yeah.
The song makes me bawl my eyes
Right.
out.
Right.
Yeah. Right, so now we've got a couple songs. So then that just kind of gives you an idea of all the different directions that you can go with this, what you can put together for yourselves to kind of feel comforted, to feel like you can feel what you need to feel. Like if we feel that we're prepared and we're still going to be safe, it's going to allow us to sit with the emotions that are difficult and allow them to exist, because we know at the end of the day that we can ground ourselves, that we can be at peace still, and that we are going to be okay. So again, where we feel the emotions, we label them without judgment, we sit with them. Chances are, once we let them be what they need to be for us, it will be easier for us to then be able to hopefully release them with time. So that's our end goal with this. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our 4 sessions, but I just wanted to kind of check in with everybody a little bit before we wrap it up. And just see like maybe what are your main takeaways? What are you going to carry with you? Or if you were talking to someone else who was really struggling with feeling or processing emotions, maybe what would you share with them?
I think the breathing exercises were very helpful. Like I talk to people about that, so I like breathing exercises.
Great. Very good for grounding, feel the same.
Yeah. Just dealing with whatever, you know, it's that box thingy.
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
So, but yeah, it can definitely be something that you know that can be your go-to, you know, like
Yeah,
anytime, anywhere, you know.
I
that
try,
you
I
got
do
that.
it like when I can't get to sleep, I do the box.
Nice. Yeah. It's a great place to do it too, because your eyes are kind of already closed.
Yeah.
Does it help you?
It does,
Oh, good.
actually, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I did it last night. I was like,
That's
yeah,
wonderful.
Yeah.
See it actually work and
I'm
living it
down
out.
on
Yeah.
PM.
That
Down
helps
on
though.
PM probably helps. It
Mix a mix of both. Yeah, right.
It does work. It does work.
Yeah.
I think like rewriting my narrative and focusing on maybe specific affirmations. Like I've been working on affirmations for the past couple of years, like gorgeous inspiration. And that's helping me. But to really be focused on my emotions and making affirmations about them. Going back over my narrative, that's helpful to me. I need to do that.
Awesome. Reiterating it, the more you see it, the more you use it, the more it'll stick with you. So that's awesome. And also it's really cool that you're using some work you've already been doing, like with the affirmations, to be able to now tailor it to like a new area of your life.
Yeah, because I find if I just keep saying the same ones,
Right.
they're not as impactful
Yeah.
anymore. I need to come up with new ones and
Yeah, definitely.
challenge myself.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Awesome.
I feel like
Yeah, and I agree about the new narrative thing too. I think that's a good, just a good way to kind of retrain your mind to think a little bit more positively about things, you know, that are making you anxious and whatever. And also the meditation things, the walking meditation, which I talked to you about last week. Unfortunately, haven't had a chance to do that quite yet, but the guided meditation, I'm definitely diving into a little bit more. Because that's all helpful, just to kind of start my day that way.
That's such a good point to really be able to kind of set your intention moving forward when you wake
Right.
up. In the morning. And yeah, even just like you said, repeating that narrative to shift literally your mindset for everything that could
Exactly.
possibly come your way that day. It's huge. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank
It's hard, not easy, but
you. Very hard.
yeah,
Yeah. It's important,
That would
but very hard.
take-
Yeah.
yeah, that was a good takeaway for me though, for sure.
Great.
The Brene Brown one. Yeah,
Mm.
so I have her book too, so I think like an extra went into me about, hopefully I'm getting it right, because this is the impact it had on me, but a lot of times our emotions are, oh, I'm happy, or I'm sad, or I'm frustrated, or I'm whatever. And so it helped me to give new words to certain emotions that I'm having. And one in particular, at one point through this whole process, it was, which I would have never really thought about, I feel unsafe in this. I feel unsafe.
Wow.
And it's like, whoa, like how was I able to get
Wow.
there? You know, like just using new words. I feel like I'm doing that.
Yeah, that's big. That's like
I feel like it
revolution of,
was.
like,
I feel like
no,
was
that
big.
is, and to be able to identify something, because I'm just thinking we probably all don't use the word unsafe often, but it's something that I think we've all felt so often in certain, you know, so it's like to not be able to have a word for that is tough. So the fact that you found that word, like, yeah.
So that was big. Just even talking with other people now. Frustration is a big word I hear a lot. It's like, is that really what it is? Go a little deeper. Go a little deeper.
Go to that next level of
It's
that
like,
emotion
yeah,
wheel.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. it is amazing just the underlying, like,
That was, yeah, that was.
yeah, and just we're so quick to kind of stay on that surface level and stay where we're comfortable with those few descriptive words when really we can learn so much about ourselves if we just allow ourselves to go a little deeper, to really dive into it a little bit more, explore a little bit, kind of investigate.
It would always be fun to do like journaling on it. You know, like just really go into. I shared at one point. There was a podcast I listened to, and it was for people who creatively write, which I don't do, but I accidentally kind of got into this podcast, and they said for 3 days in a row, journal for at least 20 minutes, and you would be surprised because there's different channels in your brain that open up, and you really only need to do that every 6 months, and it does open up a whole lot of stuff. So just bringing that up right now. At one point I shared that podcast, Love Your Body, Love Your Life. But it was good.
If you come across it again, let me know which one it was.
I will. I
Yeah,
can put
that's
it in the
pretty
Love
cool.
Your Body, Love Your Life.
Yeah.
So I can do that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'd love to listen. Pretty fascinating how a couple days worth of opening new channels can set a tone for
Yeah, and it
Like,
wouldn't necessarily be
months.
a podcast on all that we're talking. I forget what it was about, but
Yeah.
it was in there. And then I've done it twice, and after those 2 times, a lot of stuff just kind of came to me.
Yeah, if you come across it, that'd be great.
Um,
You don't have to, just if you
No,
want to.
my thing is that I have to remember that there's positive emotions, too, not just negative. Yeah.
And you know, it's kind of interesting because as hard as it is to sit with difficult emotions, would we appreciate the positive ones if we never had anything to compare it to with the negative ones?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's
Kind of
true.
like, so embrace the positive ones when we come along. We deserve that too.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe the gratitude thing. Gratitude.
Well, I loved meeting with everyone. I really enjoyed this experience, and I'm so happy that you all were able to join and be here. Is there anything that I can clarify for you? Like, what questions do you have before we wrap it up? And if you think of something later, you guys can always just go in the chat or email me or call the office, like I'm here. But is there anything that kind of you're thinking of that I can answer for you now? Good. All right, we'll just reach out if you think of anything.
Thank you
I'll go
for
ahead
everything.
and guys get going. Thank you so much. And,
Thank you.
just reach out if you need anything.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Colleen.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right,
Hopefully see you
Colleen,
soon.
ya.
Hi, Colleen.
Bye, guys.
Was that a little louder tonight? The TV?
That's a good question. It might have been.
Maybe we're just
a
getting
little
adjusted
bit
to it.
Yeah, that's true though.
We're listening
All right.
harder.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I was sore yesterday.
Yesterday.
I was sore for
Oh,
Robin.
what's it called? The ranch, something.
My
ranch.
legs were hurting.
You know, I
It's like a
don't do all of
shapeshifter
it, but
ranch.
she gets down on the chair and does like.
The leg
I
lifting.
don't listen to a lot of that.
I
Yeah,
was
so what
surprised.
channel
because I
My
don't-
body doesn't want to.
Yeah, my body was like at that point. And that one, I didn't have my right band, so I just did it without any band.
You
So
like
it's-
that? It's on
Well, it's
history.
good to me. I was a little sore. It's like, that was the first time that I
Oh,
was like,
Skywalker Ranch.
Skywalker Ranch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for decades.